On September the 16th, 1947, John Cobb established the world's land speed record for Britain, covering a measured mile at over 394 miles an hour. Rubber, as thin as a visiting card, was used to cover the 56 tyres, which were especially built to withstand the terrific strain of travelling at such speed. The tread is built onto an elaborate assembly of textile cords, embedded in layers of a special rubber compound. The tread is thin because the tyre must turn 3,000 times a minute. If it were any thicker, centrifugal force would tear it off. Air is forced under the flat cover to mould it into shape. Every sixth tyre made is tried out for 1 minute at the strain of travelling at more than 400 miles an hour. When the outer cover is fitted and the inner tube inflated, the balance of the wheel is tested. Small strips of metal are fitted to correct any error. To balance, for example, the weight of the valve. Then the perfectly balanced wheel and tyre is put onto the testing machine. Before the test, exact measurements of the tyre are taken. The width at various points is measured with calipers. And the circumference is measured too. After the test, they will be measured again. Any alteration, except a minute expansion due to heat caused by friction, would mean a weakness in the tyre. Now weights are brought to bear, so that the tyre, during the test, will carry a pressure equal to its share of Cobb's car, a quarter of 3.5 tons, about 1,800 weights. Finally, the air pressure in the inner tube is tested. This critical air pressure reduces the strain on the side walls of the tyre, and it's essential that it should be correct within very narrow limits. The control room is walled off with 1/4-inch steel, for we shall be generating enormous forces in this test. The drum, representing the ground surface on which the tyre will run, is started. When the tyre is moving at exactly the speed of the rim of the drum, the operator releases the mechanism that brings them together. In the 1 minute that the test lasted, that wheel took the full strain of driving Cobb's car for 7 miles at 420 miles an hour. The air pressure's all right. Now the temperature's taken. It's taken with an electric thermometer. That's all right too. And the measurements are well within the safety margin. Finally, the outer cover is stripped. The rubber will be analyzed to see if the high temperature has produced any chemical change. Samples of the cord are studied in the textile department. Single threads will be examined microscopically to see if the fibers are damaged. These tests ensured that John Cobb had no tyre trouble when he came to make his record bid.
vocational school for porters, goods yard workers, and others who want to take on a more responsible and better paid job. The school is equipped with miniature locomotives and rolling stock for practical training. It's complete with every item of equipment, from signals to model points operated by full-size levers. The instructor is explaining the drill for passing a train from his section of line to the next section. The signal between the two sections is on. So the train stops until the signalman in number 2 box accepts it. Until he does so, the signal lever in number 1 box is locked and can't be moved, and the signal indicator shows the normal signal on sign. Number 1 calls number 2. Number 2 acknowledges. Number 1 asks permission to pass the train into number 2 section. Number 2, knowing his section clear, accepts and moves his dial. This automatically moves the dial in number 1 box and unlocks the signal lever. So the train can go on. It's a simple system, and that means it's safe.
This is one of Britain's newest film studios. It will be equipped with the very latest and best of everything. And this goes for the construction of the building itself. This man is actually building part of the external wall with a spray gun, using a new material, something like plaster. He sprays it onto a mesh screen, and that's all the foundation it needs. That, of course, is an enormous advantage in itself, but there are many others. It's the only material that can be sprayed like this to form a solid perpendicular wall. It can be sprayed to any thickness, with a rough or smooth finish, and will take paint, distemper, or wallpaper. And it will take any shape. It won't sag or collapse as it builds up. It's tough enough to keep its shape the moment it's applied. Yes, it's tough. This is what happens if you treat a plaster wall roughly. But a wall built of the new material is not impressed by such treatment. It will dent, but it won't give in. Even to blowlands. The left one is going full blast at asbestos coated with the new material. The right one, untreated asbestos. But the new stuff is still standing up. Water holds no terrors for it either. Steam is being hosed onto this wall, part treated, part bare asbestos. Soon the untreated part is running with moisture. The treated part is dry as a bone. That's a pretty useful thing to have in factory walls. A solid brick of the stuff is made white hot. But the center is cool enough to handle. This proves the outside really is hot, but the material just won't conduct the heat. That's pretty useful too. Let's try and burn it down. The light part is treated, the dark untreated. Perhaps petrol will do the trick. Frankly, we don't yet know just why this stuff behaves like this, or just what other qualities it's got. But we know enough already to know that it's one of the biggest building developments of the century.